Okay, y'all. So I was running a little bit behind time, but guess what? It's Thursday. And it's time tonight to talk about something real that I am finding y'all to have issues with. And that is y'all personal businesses. It's getting ready to get real tonight, and we're going to talk about the privacy and everything. But I brought a special guest on tonight, Fonda Johnson. She's going to first introduce y'all so y'all will know who she is. I want y'all to follow, be supportive. She going to tell y'all a little bit what she do, and then we're going to get into it about why is it important to have a virtual assistant.
Okay, my name is Fonda Johnson. I have a total of three businesses. One is Georgia Peach Bling, which I sell paparazzi jewelry on that. Then I also have Century Innovations. That's where we do press release, and we do complete business plans for people. Also have a couple of ebooks on that one. And then I have CNF Johnson Care Homes, which is a personal care homes that we're building from the ground up for the seniors in our neighborhoods. Um, so I'm here to talk about VAs. Miss Amisha, you got questions or you want me to go right into it?
No, you don't got. I think it's giving us your sound, giving us a little static.
Oh, you can't hear me?
We can hear you, but it's like a little staticky.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Let me see if I can make the volume go up a little bit more. All right, how about that?
We still hear it. It's still kind of staticky.
Maybe I have to take my head. Okay, so how about this?
Yep, we can hear you now, loud and clear. So I wanted to, because I get everybody to talk about VAs,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like people don't understand how important it is to have a virtual assistant, and I think that like they don't want to invest into themselves. But I see a lot of people, they don't know how to go on social media. They like, oh, I'm so busy, and we know how it is when you busy and
Mm-hmm.
work a full-time job and you're trying to keep up with your posting, and then by the time you get home you don't want to post, and you like, you start getting discouraged. You like, nobody shops with me, but nobody knows who you are because you're limiting
Exactly.
yourself. And then it's like, I don't have any structure. I'm not able to go on my website. People don't know I'm creating content, but I don't know where to start. What are some of the things that you recommend for a new business owner? Like if they got their self structure and they having challenges, what do you tell them they should be really like focused on and doing to help themselves?
So the thing is, we as business owners, when it's just you, you're stretching yourself thin. You could be losing business that you don't even know about because you're not taking care of all your emails. You're not dealing with all your tasks in a timely manner because some of us still have jobs and also run our business. And so you don't have that time anymore. So we're wearing all these hats. Like, I'm the social media manager, I'm the marketer, I'm the person that's wrapping up the jewelry to send it out. I'm doing everything. So once I actually talked to somebody and said, you should get a virtual assistant. And then I'm thinking, like, what is this virtual assistant going to do for me? So then once I got one, we start doing marketing. We start doing social media. So I have 4 social media sites they take care of. Different projects they start handling for me. They were doing research for me, market research that I needed, customer relations, handling my emails, dealing with my website, graphic design, scheduling meetings, sending invoices. So right now, one thing, it reduces my stress. I can save time and do other tasks. I actually eliminated a ton of tasks by having a VA, and I generated more revenue. It's tax deductible, and I have part time VAs in my company. So it helps out a lot.
So one of the things, and I tell people, like, a lot of people don't. I noticed that they don't want to invest into themselves. And then they like, oh, well, I see them and then I don't see them anymore. So it's like, I see you with the business, but then I don't see you with it because they don't have anybody to help them control and different things like that. And I think a lot of people get immune to this. Let me DM this person or let me do this. But I find it more easier when you have a virtual assistant. It looks more professional. It sounds more professional because then you could cut the people out. Like, let me get in this person's DM and so ask them about their services. And then it's like everybody's getting so lax to this. But if you have a VA that will actually capture all the information and keep you organized, see, I think that with myself, that was one of the things that I had an issue with. Like, I just had stuff everywhere. And it's like, once you get one, and that's what I tell them, like, once you have that one VA and you can contest that, then it's like, okay, I need to find somebody that's going to do X, Y, and Z for me. So if you find that person that can do X, Y, and Z for me, now I can move on and I can start freeing up my time as the CEO. But Fonda, we know a lot of people don't want to make that investment to it. It's just like hiring somebody, but people like don't want to make the investment to it. And I tell people, like, you can find them on, Facebook or whatever, but do you know they're really going to do the work versus going with the company and they find the person for you, they find a compatible match for you. A lot of people just want to go in and they like, oh no, I don't want to pay somebody $200-$300 a week because I could just do it myself, or I don't want to give away an extra $100. I look at it as, let me just go ahead and stop cutting some of the personal things. Maybe I need to get another job. And I did that to pay mines. And I pay mines over, my payroll out is over like $1,500 every 2 weeks. But I'm seeing a change in what it is because now I have somebody that does graphics. Then I have somebody that's my client care. Then I have somebody that runs my social media. And I think that with a lot of people, they don't want to make that investment. So they'll be like, keep draining themselves. So what's kind of your thought on that?
Well, basically, the way I looked at it is when I got the first VA that I got, I was like, well, what am I going to do with her? How much am I going to spend? How much is this going to cost me? But then once I saw the quality of her work and what she was doing, helping me out and, alleviating some of my stress, organizing my DMs and my messages. And then I was like, I was actually increasing my revenue because I had time to start other streams of income. And then at that time I had two, but right now, the one that I have, she helps with one of my businesses so I can increase my revenue. And now it's worth that little extra $100 and some dollars or $200 that I spend a week because it's making me more than that, 2 to 3 times more than what I spent on her. Right. And that's the whole point. You got to increase your revenue to even have them there, but it's worth it. In the beginning, I didn't have revenue, but I had a VA since November. So I didn't have any revenue at that time, but we had to get it all organized to generate to where it's all worth it. I mean, I can go out to a restaurant with my friends and go out to dinner and I can spend $100 real easy. But now it's worth it.
And you're right about it. I'm glad you said that because a lot of people, like, even with, like, it takes off a burden for you. So you don't have to worry about like, oh, I missed my scheduled time to post. Even if you schedule the post, who's going to respond to it? You're working. So who's going to engage with these people? It may be somebody that wants to shop with you or wants something from you. And you 8 hours late because you done got off work and you getting settled. It's 11 o'clock. You can't reach out to that person. So I think that that's an issue. But also I look at it as an issue with a person. Sometimes people don't want to invest in themselves, just like with you doing press releases. People will say, and kind of give them some input on press releases and how important it can help the brand also.
So when it comes down to press release, like that puts you out there, that takes your business to a different level. So with the press release, let's say we use you as an example, Future Millionaires. Everybody in this area of Atlanta knows about you. But if I do it nationwide, then you can get people, because you can work with people anywhere in the United States. And they'd be like, oh, I saw this article on what you do. And that's how you can generate more revenue for your business. And then you can also put those press release on your website. That is lifetime publishing and promotion for your company. That you have an article with Forbes, you have an article with Yahoo Finance, you have an article with the AJC. And you can put all this on the bottom of your website, and that lets me know that this person's company is legit, that I see them on news outlets. So they know what they're talking about, and I need to get this company.
Right. So and I think a lot of people, what they don't realize is if you're having that person to do the content for you, it looks more cleaner. And it's even, you can even contest to like when you send the files over to your VA, you're handing over them the information. But a lot of people think like we think of the creations, Fonda, but they execute what we need. So now it's
Exactly.
more people, because I know you're in a lot of groups and you do a lot of different things and you work full time. So now you can have this person that sits in, that's a part of your organization, that will say, okay, I am the social media manager. I'm the graphics person for this team. I'm this person that's going to be handling this for this team. And it has to be somebody. And I think people, when they think of VAs, they're thinking like, oh, I'm going to make $1 million tomorrow. And I tell people like, you can't give up on the VA in a week. It takes months for them to, because they got to learn your business. They got to do research. And I was fine. And one of my VAs, he actually introduced it to me. I used to let him work 4 hours. And I used to ask, like, what is he doing all day? I'm like, Isaac, what are you doing all day? And he like, Miss Misha, he was like, Miss Misha, he was like, he was like, it's just, he was like, it is what I have to do. He was like, I got to do research on your brand. And at first I'm like, I don't think you're doing nothing all day. I think you playing around. And he made me realize and really, he was like, it's just like when you start a new job. When you start a new job, you just don't go running into it. They train you. And so he was learning my brand to figure out, okay, but he was able to tell me the analytics. Okay, this is where we're at. This is what you don't have. This is what you do have. This is what you need. This is what we need to do. This is the way you need to go with the brand. And a lot of people don't understand that. And he was like, he was like, this is what you need to do. Now, on your side, what do you see that has changed for you with having a VA?
Well, what I did is some of the training courses that I've taken on different items like marketing, social media, getting more sales and stuff like that. I actually let my VAs take those classes because you know how you get a recording because you pay for these classes, you have a recording. I let them take them classes so they can understand. So we have our 1 week, every week we have a talk and we talk about the next project. And she comes up with some great ideas in regards to what we could do for future projects. And so basically I'm training them on each one of my businesses on what we do. I always send them notes and letters, even flyers about the business so they can understand. And it does take a while. I mean, it's been since November. And now I think they understand my brand. They know how to go on my social media and put different quotes on there. They know what to put up for each one of the companies. They understand everything that's going on graphically. And that's one thing that I appreciate because they're young and they're good learners. They want to learn stuff. They want to learn new things. We're even checking into different classes that I can add additionally that they can learn.
So when you have them as encouragement for other people, do you think that is it more of you think that a person doesn't really want to invest into their brand, or they just like, nah, I feel like it's a waste of money, or no, I feel like it costs too much, or no, I just don't want to do it because I feel like I could do it myself. I always tell people like I can't do everything myself. Like I ain't no graphic person. I don't edit photos. I don't do any of these things. Like and it's a headache. And then when you gotta, as the CEO, do other back end stuff, you really can't, you don't have time to do that stuff, because once you create content, and I know we got a lot of content creators that's out there, sometimes it could take all day to create content, and then you just like stuck. So you like stuck. But do you think it's that people really don't want to pay for getting help, or do you think they like, well, I could just do it myself?
I think everybody tries to do everything themselves, but you cannot do everything yourself.
She's gonna come back, you guys. Sorry about that. When you on the live streaming, but she's gonna come back. Sometimes it happens like that, stuff cuts off. But I'm just going to, continue on, and I'm just gonna tell you guys, like, it's definitely important to have a VA. It's definitely important. Um, it's definitely important to have a virtual assistant. You want to have somebody that's actually going to hold your brand accountable, going to hold you accountable, going to do these things that you need to do as an entrepreneur. It's not things that are going to happen overnight. It's not going to be tomorrow. It's not going to do any of these things that we're thinking that is going to happen. And that's why I think that it's definitely it's definitely something that we can do, and different things that you can work on as an entrepreneur. And you have to think about what it is that, and I'm bringing Miss Fonda back. She's back. So she's back. So you want to start like really mapping out, even if, and I started out with my VAs part-time, Miss Fonda did too, only 20
Mhm.
hours a week. So you can start them out with 20 hours a week. You don't have to bring them on for them. I know some people say it got to be 40 hours. I don't do that, because I feel like in the beginning you may not be financial stable to be able to bring somebody on 40 hours. That's a lot of money when you're still trying to build your brand. But like Miss Fonda said, if you can go out, you got to invest into the brand, because a lot of people, Miss Fonda, I see they have good ideas, and it's just
Mhm.
like a lack of seeing it. And then they're like, I know for myself that I see more people engaging in my stuff now, since I have somebody that's there and I have a team that's actually able to do it. It's more consistent than before. I was like, oh, I only got one like, or oh, and that really doesn't determine anything, the likes, but it's like you get more people to actually look at you. So it's more people that are actually looking at you versus nobody's looking at you. And I know for you, like having your VAs, you're teaching them, but I learned with the VAs, they have a lot of knowledge. Like one of
They
mine,
do.
yeah, she's a journalist. Like she's a
Mhm.
journalist. One was a teacher. And I'm like,
Mhm.
and one thing I would say, and it's not like to make people of our own, they work really hard. You notice
Mhm.
that they work really hard,
Yes.
they're dedicated. Like they're like, yes, boss, yes, boss. And you don't gotta look for them. Like some people you got you on the internet, like where is such and such. You don't have
Mhm.
to look for them. They're there and they're able to get to your needs. And if you say, hey, you work at 8 to 12, 8 to 1, or you split their shifts up, you're able to do these things. But if you're not having anybody there to really do it, and you who got time as a CEO to be looking for somebody? I don't have, and
Mhm.
I've tried to actually have a VA that was within that lived here in the United States, and it did not work out for me. Like it was like one girl told me, like, oh, I ain't coming in today because I got to go pick my baby up. You got to be, this is a job. Like, and they're looking for $18, $19. And she says she got to go pick up her baby. And that
Mhm.
made me realize, like, okay, if I start my own company to help people and I monitor them, my team monitors them. So if you
Mhm.
get a, they're being monitored. So you got to look at it, and they're actually being coached on different things also. So they're learning and they can ask questions. And do you see the growth, Miss Fonda, with your VAs, with yourself, with you
Oh,
having
yes.
different
I
business?
totally see how they've grown and how they learned a lot and they're getting the concept of what I want done. And they actually understand me more to where I'm comfortable with them posting certain things without messaging me every time. It's like they finally understand my brand and they can go with the flow with that. And one thing I do like about them, yes, you start off with the 20 hours and you figure out your plan on what you want to do with them. But then you'll start getting all these new projects and you're like, okay, I need you to be working a little bit more here. And so you increase the hours and then you might even need more than one VA to do certain projects too.
Uh-huh. And that's where it goes. Like, and I tell anybody, I'm like, it's like that for me. And
Mhm.
I look at different things and then they get the structure. So if you need, like me being a consultant, I can honestly say for myself, like when they from the time they came in a year ago, I was all over the place. I had stuff and they got me so organized. And like even once I finish writing like business plans, I get them over to them. They put the logo on it, they center it the way it's supposed to be centered, and then they send it back to me for final review, and then we get it back. And I said, you never understand what a second eye could do because they'll be like, oh, Miss Misha, you put this right here. This comma should have been here, and we're gonna do this. Is a second eye that's looking at it. And a lot of people don't realize when you have that second person, that double set of eyes that can keep you organized. I've never, Miss Fonda, had a Google Drive. Everything was just all over my back. I'm for real, Miss Fonda. I'm being honest. Everything was on my MacBook Pro. And I had so much stuff on there. My older one crashed and I had to go get a new one.
Mhm.
And they were telling me, they like, no, Miss Misha, we need to do this. So like they even go through my emails like today. They then went and put like business credit, call center, consulting, DocuSign, end of the day report, grant writing, importing, payroll, VA services. Like they've created and like it feels good. I'm like, DocuSign might be charging me like 150 or something for all my stuff, but it's like we're never missing a beat. And it's like
Mhm.
they reviewing stuff. It's fun. They'll tell you like, "Hey, we got a new contract," and they're reviewing things, and they're like, "No, no, no, hold. We need to do this." Like today, I came up with a brilliant idea, and they was like, "No, boss. Listen,
And they
we
ran with it.
no." They was like, boss. We need to do this. No more of this. They was like, we need to do some research, and I like that because they've been VAs, so they work for agencies, so they know how to tell me, okay, Miss Misha, this is what we need to do. And I like their insight. Like this, every morning, me and Danny have a huddle. She
Mhm.
refers back to everybody else. So by the end, I'm already working, so they already know. And I be straight up with them. I tell them like, if y'all keep disturbing me, I can't work, which means y'all can't get paid. So you got to do that. And I told them like I give them incentives. So when they do graphics, they do different things like this. They get a percentage of what they
Mm.
done. So now they like, they like, okay, we need to do this. Isaac, he was a teacher. He does branding. He does marketing. He do all these different things. And he was like, Miss Misha, we need to have this. And he comes up with it and he brings it to me. But it makes me oversee, like, no, I seen this on social media. So we need to do this and we need to do that. And you got a different and you probably got the same thing with yours. With those press releases, you can get it over to them and then they
Mhm.
can bring it back and say,
Yeah.
no, right. They can
Mhm.
bring it back. And they see a lot. And what people don't know, VA see a lot more, well, especially the ones that handle social media. They be seeing stuff I didn't see. So it's like,
That's true because my VA actually, I noticed when our revenue started increasing is that I was in a lot of groups. And I knew I set these groups up a while ago. And so when I start with one of the companies, they start doing the press release and the business plans. She is like, well, I'm going to post your flyers in the groups and put messages on there. The groups that pertain that would be interested, the business groups. So we put it in like three groups. I have probably about 25 groups. And then I got probably about 6 or 7 DMs about it
see,
because I was put there. I was like, well, how did you hear from me? oh, I saw it in group such and such. I saw it in group. So now I'm like, you know what? You spend an hour, go through all them groups, and you go and put all them flyers in there because I had 4 meetings this week behind those groups. And that's
Exactly.
from a VA suggesting to put my information in those groups.
And that's what I try to tell people. Like, you don't look at, you might work a little. I work a whole full-time job. I gotta pay mine. I gotta work a full-time. You work extra hours picking up you doing other things. And I think that that's where people don't know. Like, they like, I don't know. And I tell people, like, tax time, I would invest. If I still got taxes like I did in my ancient life, I
Yeah,
would have
back in the day.
invested. Miss Fonda, listen, I might have had 8. Cause I would have had, everybody would have been doing something. I would have had somebody marketing. I would have had somebody doing this. Somebody would have been doing this. Somebody would have been doing this. And it just would, and they all would have been working part time, but they would have been working together to get
Mhm.
some more money. And the thing is, talking to them,
Mhm.
understand it. Where does my business really want to go? A lot of people don't know where their business. They just create businesses. I talk to people all the time, and they be like, Miss Misha, I've been running this business for 2 years and I ain't got an LLC. And I tell them, that's a hobby. That's not a business. That's a
That's
hobby.
a hobby.
You're running a hobby. And you even see, like, and I see how even with you go out, you go to pop-up shops, you do all these different things. You're doing all these different things. You're doing pop-up shops, you're doing all these different things as an entrepreneur. But behind the scenes, they doing all the work. Your nice
Mhm.
pictures and stuff, those are your VAs doing that. And
Exactly.
they're like, Miss Misha, how you get them flyers? Where you get them flyers from? And I'm like, it's not easy work. I gotta pay them to do these flyers. I get them a layout every day. This is what you should be doing. This is what we need to execute. We got to execute it today. We can't wait till tomorrow. We can't wait till next week. We got to get it done. And you taught me this, Ms. Fonda. You got to put them on a deadline. And I
Yeah.
put mine on a deadline. Their deadline is every day. The end of the day, I need it because when I'm ready to do something, I gotta post. And I like that you told me that. And tell
Mhm.
them how what you do with yours, like the calendar. That is like the dopest thing. Like, I got my.
So every month we go over how they want to be scheduled and what's good for them. And I'm very easy to where I say, do you want to work at night or do you want to work in the daytime? And then they'll tell me, well, in March or whatever, I want to do this schedule. And I fill out the whole month for them and I send it over to your staff so they'll know, which I haven't done March yet, but I'm working on it. But I try and be pretty organized in regards to that. We are probably planning on looking for a marketing VA because my little team's been talking about that. So we're looking into that because she took a few marketing classes, but I think I might look for somebody that kind of specializes in that. And people have to understand these VAs, yes, they're from the Philippines, but they do have an education. So they do have a background. So you're not just getting anybody. And when they interview with you for VAs, then they need to be specific on what they want the VA to do. Because I had a couple of meetings today and I was telling them all about you, all about getting the VA. And they're like, I'm ready, because one lady, she was thinking about accounting. And I said, well, I have to talk to Miss Misha and see if it's VAs that do accounting because she needs to get organized with accounting. But I said, I'm sure it is because my VA has a degree in journalism. So I'm sure it's accounting VAs out there, it's real estate VAs out there. So we'll have a lot of stuff going on.
So one thing that I tell people is they have they're more professional than the people that you see every day, Miss Fonda. Like, and I'm being serious. They more professional than people you see every day that you look at every day. Like,
They
and
are.
some of the emails and stuff that I have minds to send. And one thing, if you got a problem, Miss Fonda, I've learned with having a VA, if you have a problem with saying no, then you need you a VA. If you got a problem, and I was like too nice, and they tell me all the time, no, no. And that's where I got to know from. They're like, no, Miss Misha, no, we're not doing that today. No, no, no. This price is this price. This is it. This is all. And I had to learn that. I'm like, it's easy. And then when they broke it down to me, they said, it's easy for us to say no because we don't know these people. You know
True.
some of these people. So you know these people, but we don't. So it's easy for us to say no than it is for me to say no. They like, no, Miss Misha, you doing something, you talking about $500 that I look, and they do research. So when they come back, Miss Fonda told me, like, no, in the United States, these people getting paid X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, where did you find this at? No, Miss Misha, I did my research. You can go, and they'll send me links like, read this tonight before you go to sleep. And they give me assignments to do. And they like, Miss Misha, we are holding you. And my VAs hold me accountable because they know I'll tell them like, hey, I'm going to do this today. I promise I'm going to do it today. And I never do it. They'll write me. And when mine's working, it's night where they at and it's day where I'm at. And they'll say, Miss Misha, this is what you should be doing. Like, those my accountability partners. I laugh with them. I joke with them. I have fun with them. We talk about stuff. We was talking about some stuff tonight, and I said, now go to bed. I told them, I said, it's time to go to bed because I don't want nobody to go to bed. And they just have a relationship. And I even created for mine a PTO plan because I know that everybody wants to be off. And I think about that too. And like today we was talking about like holidays, and they was asking me, they was like, well, what holidays are we really going to be closed? And I said, well, it's going to be like Christmas for us and stuff like that. I don't expect y'all to work because I'm not working.
Did they bring up their holidays?
They brought up that they did tell me about that one holiday I think they got, and they was telling me stuff. Yeah. So they was like, that's when everybody get together. They told me about that. And I told them, I was like, it's okay. But I told them we have to make sure we have enough content that's there that will keep the business running. I said, now certain things I can do, but I tell them like if they got the content, I let mine work over sometime and pull back on Fridays. They might want to relax. I'm like, okay, if you did everything Friday, you can leave early. And it's like giving them the opportunity, because one thing that they told me, they was like, you guys have leverage here. This is way more nicer than what we are. They don't even drive. They say they walk everywhere. So like when they see me and they're on Zooms and stuff, they're in the car. And I'm in the car and they're walking. And they were telling me, how they walk their dogs. And we talk about, I'm like, I got a dog. They like, I got a dog. And we talk about these things, but it grows to like you caring about them. Like I asked them when they sick, and I asked them like when they sick, they're nothing like we are. And I appreciate them. Like they could have a cold and they're still going to work. We could have a cold and it's fine. Ain't nobody going to work. You're like, oh, I'll be there tomorrow. Or we get a little bit of, because they didn't understand. They said, what is all this we keep saying about taxes? I explained to them how
they don't have taxes like us at all.
They don't even have socials like us, Ms. Fonda.
Oh, I know they don't have socials.
Yeah, so they were telling me they don't report like taxes and different things. So I explained, but they didn't understand. Like they like, why is everybody talking about their tax return? And I told them, I said, that's like a holiday. And they bust out laughing like you did. They like, I'm like, that's like a holiday. And they said, well, what is it? And I explained it to them. I said, that's when people get money back. The ones that worked and got children, they get a lump sum. And I was like, Miss Misha can't get that because she got these businesses, so I can't get those things. And we talked about that, and they get it. And they was like, Miss Misha, we get it now. Like, I understand it. And they definitely understand now, but they tell me how much they appreciate being able to work somewhere and being able to have work. And it makes you look at us and we be complaining. And I was like, dag, I ain't even gonna complain about my jobs. Like they really have like some of them, the VAs I have, they're in their early 20s and they're taking care of their whole family. And I'm like,
that's family. That is so true. I was even talking to one of them telling me how her sister's house, when it has rainy time, like it's raining at her, over here, that they have to move everything up to the top of the house because it floods in the bottom of the house every time it rains.
And that's dedication. That's way more.
And like she's still working upstairs.
See? And that lets you know, why wouldn't you want to have somebody like that on your team to be able to work? Because that's dedication. She's still working. And she having this go on. But we got people here that's asking $18, $20, and you got to fight with them to get your work done for your brand. So I tell people, like, it's definitely serious business. Miss Fonda, I wanted to talk about some tips for budgeting. What tips, Miss Fonda, can you give us? Entrepreneurs like myself, you got the ones that don't own houses, and I wanted to save some time for you to talk to us about budgeting because I think that this is a problem with us as entrepreneurs. Like, we don't know how to budget. We just want to buy everything. We get money and even personal budgeting. Like, what tips can you give to us? Just a little bit of gems you can give to us. And if they further more one-on-one, they can get further more one-on-one. But what are some tips that you can give to us that we can do to like change it? Because a lot of us got kids, we don't own houses, we renting, we got bad credit. Like, being older, what tips can you give to us?
So what I tell everybody is I have a book, an ebook on budgeting. So nobody should be living basically paycheck to paycheck. So us as entrepreneurs, you should be paying yourself. I understand you got all the stuff going on, but the biggest tax break you could ever have as an entrepreneur is payroll tax. So all your payroll, let's say you making $5,000 in your business a month, you're paying out, pay yourself $1,000, put yourself on payroll, pay yourself $1,000, do a W-2 for that. Let's say you have a kid that's 15 years old and she's over here get organizing some of your stuff for work. You can put her on payroll. That is the best tax break to have for any business. In addition to that, you can organize a vacation plan. You can organize a homeowner's plan. So let's say your down payment for the average house is $10,000. You're paying yourself this $1,000. You can put $100 in that one plan right there. There's your down payment for your house plan. You want to go on vacation with your kids at the end of the year. Put $50 in that plan. You should always have all these emergency plans sitting around. You can do it either you can pull it in cash if you want to put it in your safe, or you can put it in another account that you don't have a debit card for. You literally have to get off your butt and go to the bank and withdraw money out of it. So you have to start paying yourself and you have to start budgeting your life because you don't really need that Louis Vuitton purse for $1,700. You need to put that away and get you some life insurance. You need to do it's so much stuff out there that you need at a young age. Like, you're getting ready to turn 40 in a year. You're 39. You should have had life insurance probably about 10 years ago. And you could be using that for your business right now. Because your kids, that life insurance could be $1 million. You can pull off of that money on the tail end of it because your kids are not going to need $1 million. But by the time you get to that age, it could be worth $2 million. You could have been using that money for your business. So it's so many ways how we need to budget in our life. And you should not be living paycheck to paycheck. Nobody should be. It's ways to save money and it's ways to have nice stuff too.
So we don't need, okay. So how do we get this book? Like, where do we get this book? Because this book, I need to read this. I need to read this book. Like, seriously.
So on our website, Century Innovations, it's a website, www.centuryinnovations.llc. And that's our website for our business. You can purchase the book on there. It's only $29.95. And I think one of the books is on sale for $19 until the end of March. It's either the business credit, or the
Can you spell it for me so I can put it in this group so they can?
Yes, it's Century, SENTRY Innovations, INNOVATIONS.
Oh, hold on. Century, SENTRY.
Yes.
Innovations.
INNOVATIONS.
Okay. .com.
Correct.
See, and that's what I'm talking about. Like, we need to be investing into these type of things. We need to definitely, like you say, we should not be going to brunches every week. We should not be up at somebody hookah bar. We should not be at. You can go and it's either I had to think about that with myself. Like, what am I going to do? Am I investing into my business? And like you say, like, I just started paying myself. Like this year, I just
You
started paying
have
myself,
to.
not paying myself. Everything was going back into the business.
Mm-hmm.
And when you told me like you should be paying yourself, and that's an important part. And I think a lot of people don't, because they hear people say like, I've heard, oh no, don't pay yourself till you start making like 40, $50,000. And you just like, you like, okay, wait, but like after I talked to the company you referred me to, it was like, okay, this is the option. I don't gotta put too much. And like they told me, it was like, if you're gonna be, the money is on a W-2. So you're going to be using that money again. So he was like, even if it goes in there and you put it back into the business account, it's recycling itself. So you're
It
doing
is. And
cycle.
that total amount that you put in, including the FICA and everything that you paid in, that comes off of your taxes at the end of the year. So let's say you owe me $10,000, I'm the IRS, but you didn't spend $8,000 in payroll. You only owe me 2,000.
Right. And I think that that's where people don't get it at. They're like, oh, I gotta put this. But he explained it to me, like you said, he was like, you want to do it. And definitely like life insurance policies, so many of us think because we have this stuff through our job, 401ks, life insurance, that's the only way that you could get it. Because I used to be like that, like, oh, I don't need that. I got it through my job. But what happens when you leave that job, or
When
you
you
like, oh
leave
my
that
God,
job,
you lose everything because they not letting you take your stuff with you. You got to leave them their stuff. So now you done lost. You could have been at a job 10 years. Like you say, 10 years, you could have been somewhere and you're not there no more. So it definitely, budgeting definitely plays a part with where they want to go and where they want to be. Ms. Fonda, I want to ask you another question. Why I got you on me? What's your thoughts? Because I'm asking everybody that do events and different things like that. What's your thoughts on events? Like, how can you make it like the best if you're an entrepreneur? Like, if you selling stuff, like we over the last weekend, you made it, you met some connections. And I tell people like, I think it's more like the connections. That's why I like going, because I don't know. We talked to TK, we planning us a brunch, you getting us together for this girl trip. So y'all, if y'all want to go somewhere, we going somewhere and we ain't going nowhere.
Yes, we are.
We're going somewhere, we ain't going nowhere far. Miss Fonda knows how to budget this out because she's our budget girl. So she will budget.
We're gonna be on the budget.
So what do you tell people that's like entrepreneurs? Because I know that you got the Georgia Peach Bling, and I know sometime with all of your competitors how hard it is with everybody doing it. Like, what can you tell to these entrepreneurs as far as like, what's some encouragement you can give to them? Like, do you think they should be doing events? If they are doing events, what do they need to have, or what do they need to do, or is it something with the mindset they may need to have?
Well, to me, the mindset, you can't go into these events thinking that you're gonna make $500, $600, $1,000 in these events. The whole point to me of pop-up shops is the networking. It's all about networking, hooking up with people, because you can find people there that is interested in what you have, and then they set you up for something better. And so that's how you have to look at it. And one thing I did like about the recent event we went to, that they actually had people there to speak. It wasn't just the DJ. It wasn't just us communicating with each other. It was actually people there to speak. And it was very interesting to me. And then what's hilarious is that one of our friends is having like a pop-up shop, Lee Campbell, and she had got all her vendors in less than a week, that fast. And so it was crazy because I told her I put her flyer in a group of mine, and people were like DM me. I was like, here, Lee, here's the captures, go fix this. They all think it's my event. Here you go. Because I'm not doing it. But yeah. Right. So because she has so many people backing her in her group, I think that's going to make her events better because people are going to come out more. And I think people that's hosting these events, they need to have a team of people helping them, not just that one person. Because if you have a team helping, you get all this stuff organized, then the team's going to bring their friends, they're going to bring their own friends. That's how you're going to get it out there instead of them doing them individually by themselves. I think they have to have a team to do it, and don't do it so often. If that group
Right.
have one 2 or 3 times a year, that's enough, but not every month type situation, because you're gonna get the same people to come out there all the time.
Right. And I think that that's good because, like, even what like Lee's doing, I like she's giving something because I even bought like 2 tickets and then I went
Oh,
and
I
bought
did
2
too.
more.
She's
Yeah,
giving
it's
away
like,
something.
yeah, you're giving away something, but you're also, like you said, you also having to like, if you do it too much, people, it's like they're buying the same thing over and over again.
Mhm.
So they're not going to want to come out. But like you say, if you got that team of people that support and that reshares, and it's not a competition. See, I think with a lot of hosts, they're in competition with each other. And my theory is when I used to do it, it shouldn't be a competition. Like if you're not doing
Mhm.
anything, you can bring your group out. If I'm not
Mhm.
doing anything, I can invite the people that I know, and then you'll have a good turnout of people. But I think it's like people, if they don't have nothing to look forward to, they don't want to do it because it's like, oh, okay, I got to spend 70. And I had to look at it like that, being a host,
Mhm.
like, oh, I got to spend $70. They're spending $70, and then you feel guilty because they might not even make back the $70, but I had to think like, do we as hosts put out everything? Because you can't, like you say, you can't just keep putting out a flyer on Facebook or Instagram,
Mhm.
like on Eventbrite. You got to really go outside and go there, and that's still not a guarantee. But if you
No, it's
start
not.
building connections, like you said, Lee built connections with everybody, and
Mhm.
that's what I do. If you build connections and not, a lot of women have a problem with each other. And instead of saying, hey, I feel this way because you did this to me, they won't say that. They'll just keep it all in and then they fall out.
Mhm.
But she built something that's a community for all of us. And it's like,
Exactly.
okay, that event, she got people wanting to come from out of town. So that
Oh,
shows
she got
a
quite a
lot.
few coming from out of town.
That's what I'm saying. It shows a lot about the people that she's surrounding herself with. And that's what I
Mhm.
tell them. You got to stop thinking Atlanta, Atlanta, Atlanta. You got to get, like you say, in business groups. If you do body contouring, if you got a boutique, you got to think about other people. But also, Miss Fonda, what's your thought about them having a mentor? Does that, in a coach, does that play a
Oh
big
yeah, I have like 3 mentors. I mean, for different things. You have to have multiple mentors. You can't just have that one person. You got to have multiple people to help you with your mentorship. In addition to that, you got to basically put yourself out there and go networking meetings, especially the ones that don't cost you anything, because you could collaborate with somebody. Like some of these boutiques can collaborate with like my jewelry or with people that sell shoes or whatever. We can do a fashion show. You see what I'm saying? It's different things that you can do in the community, and you can put people together. You put the right people together, and you got everybody can make the money. That's the thing I noticed. A lot of people don't want to work together with stuff. They just think that, oh, I'm going to lose money because she's here or something like that. You should all work together.
So Alexander is on here, and so this is, I'm glad you brought this up. Charmaine just said, let's do a fashion show. She sell clothes, you sell
Hmm.
jewelry, Alex
Hmm.
sells hair. So you could come together, like you say, you can say, okay, this is the complete, Charmaine has the shirt and everything, the clothes, and then you say, okay, well, you can wear this. Like, I got some stuff from you that I'm wearing. I'm taking, I got my bag, I got my bag from Amber. So I'm taking my bag with my little cute earrings, and I'm gonna do my post and do my tag. And then it's like, okay, I'm going, and they gotta think about it, these formal events. So
Exactly.
my thing is, instead of me going to Rainbow and getting some jewelry, why not get it from you? Yours is cheap,
Exactly.
and it's the same type of jewelry. And
Hmm.
that's what people don't realize. They don't see, like you say, contact, stay connected with each other and work together. But it's like people be women, especially like I find the men don't have these issues. Like it's always women, like with
Mm-hmm.
drama, like, oh, she don't like me or she's feeling this kind of way. You could share. I share everybody's stuff. And I be
Yeah.
sharing people's stuff, Miss Fonda, and people will get upset. And they'll be like, well, you didn't. And I'm like, I didn't really see your stuff. Like, I see your stuff all the time. I see Lee, I see Alex, I see Charmaine, because it's all about I'm learning. And that's what my VA showed me how to, the more you engage with people, the more you'll see and you'll start coming up in timelines. So they was like, you got to
Exactly.
start engaging. But a lot of people use that algorithm. Oh, it's that, but it's not. And they told me that it was like it's not the algorithm all the way, it's your engagement. So if you only engage it under your friend's post, the only people that are going to see you are your friends. And they were
Mm-hmm.
telling me, like, you can reach out to somebody you don't know and say, hey, how you doing today?
Mm-hmm.
Good morning. And they told me that. So I try to get up in the morning and do it. And it was like just throughout the day, like you just can't like it. You got to comment
You
under it.
got to comment, or you got to put a GIF on there. You got to put a emoji on there or something, and you engage with these people. And then they look back at your stuff because they get nosy. And they look back at your stuff and they like, oh, she do this. Oh, she do that. That's why you make sure you have all your flyers out there so they can see, because that's the first thing I think when I have my meeting and I'm talking to these entrepreneurs and I'm like, I have a flyer right here from Miss Misha. You need to take that. Oh, I have this for this person. Because certain things, I'm not going to do everything. And I know other people do it well. So I basically put it out there and I'm like, here you go. There's your person.
I'm not messing with Miss Wanda. She said because they do it very well. But it's like what you say, like Miss Fonda, a little bit like you guys, like I'm in healthcare. Miss Fonda gave me hope. She said, Misha, this is what you need to do. Because I look at her more like Miss Fonda, y'all won't believe it, but Miss Fonda got grown kids like us. She got
Oh,
grown
yeah.
kids like me, like
Yeah,
most of
my
us.
oldest is 32.
See? So she is like a mother to us. So she has been through the trials, the tribulations, and she don't have one kid. She have several kids, several
6.
babies, and 6 of them. So she knows where we've been. And a lot of us, she probably sees some of us like, you 30, you 40, and you ain't got your stuff together. Come on, like you got it. And it's okay to like, she is one of the most, if you want to ask something, she is the person that you can go ask questions to, and she gonna give you a real answer. Some women won't give you that real answer. And she told me, like, Misha, you need to be doing this, you need to be doing this. And she was telling me, like, you need to do this. And y'all wouldn't believe it, but she wrote my press releases. So she like, you need to be doing this. I think you should do this. And we even talked about me being in the medical field. She like, you can come out of this. I can get you some people that help. You can do their billing for them. You don't know who. And I met her through Lee and Batty Boss University. You
Exactly.
don't know who you sitting with. And I look at her like a mother. I could call her. I could tell. She could tell y'all. I call her sometimes, and I be venting. And she listens. She's not judgmental. She's supportive. And it's all about, like she said, like everybody coming together. She will support any of you guys. Anybody. That's one thing I can say. She will support. But at the end of the day, take some time to think about, Miss Fonda, tell them again what you have to offer to them. Because a lot of, and Alex, you should get with her because Alex sells hair. And she does Airbnb too. So she definitely should get with you for a press release.
Yeah, because that's going to take your business to another level with a press release. That's going to put you out in the AJC. That's going to put you out nationwide. And then they see, oh, Alex has such and such hair, and she's been doing this since such and such. She's in Atlanta. That's going to put it to another level. Because when I look at Alex's website, I see at the bottom, she was featured on Forbes, or she was featured on the AJC. And then I'll be like, yeah, she got her stuff together. I want to use that company for my hair supplier. And I tell people it's not that expensive to get it out there. Once you get 2 to 3 to 4, with yours go out on Monday. So we're going to find out by Tuesday or Wednesday where you at, and you get your report. because it goes out to over 200 plus outlets, and you can be everywhere. And by Friday, you're gonna get calls from people going, "I saw your ad. What's going on with your business?" Because they're gonna be nosy. That's the whole point. When they see your picture, they see your company name. That's gonna draw them to your websites, and then you're gonna start getting business that way. And that's the whole point. Once you get established with your business, you need to take it to the next level so people know exactly what you do.
See, and that's what I'm telling y'all. Like, invest into it. So, Miss Fonda, if they want you to write them a press release, what's the price for them to get a press release written?
Okay, so to get your press release written and also put out in the network, it's $7.99. I had a special that started on Valentine's Day and it lasts until March 15th. If you look on Georgia Peach Bling Facebook, you look on Century Innovations Facebook, you'll see it on there. And you can actually get a free press release that doesn't cost anything. It's going to go into a drawing, and one person's going to win this free press release. But that $7.99 is just a fraction of how much business you can get because of the stuff that you sell. That's the whole point. And that's not even expensive, because I see people out here charging $2,500 to $5,000 a month. Mine is one fee, one time, not a monthly fee. So we can get your stuff out there and everything.
So you see that you guys can get these things, and this is something that everybody should have. Like, everybody that's an entrepreneur should have this. Like, don't sell yourself short. And she said till March 15th. Now you gotta follow the mechanics. Don't think that she not gonna know you didn't do the mechanics. So you have to follow the mechanics. You definitely have to follow the mechanics, y'all. So you definitely want to be doing this. Like, you definitely want to be doing these things, because if you do these things, trust me, your business will grow a whole lot, and it'll grow way more faster than what you thought it was going to do. It's all about these things that, and Miss Fonda probably come back, her phone kind of cut off. And Charmaine, when she get back on, I'm gonna ask her that. One of the things that you gotta remember is that you cannot sell yourself short. You cannot do things that don't make sense, or invest into things that are not gonna make y'all a difference, or are not gonna make you grow. So, y'all, tonight's show, please like, share, subscribe, visit my website, www.futuremillionairesconsulting.com. You can follow me on Facebook at FM Consultant, IG FM Consultant LLC, LinkedIn Future Millionaires Consultant LLC. I'm on TikTok. I need some more TikTok followers. FM Consultant LLC, and YouTube. I make my own shorts, and these videos are on YouTube. So y'all, please like, subscribe, and share. This is informative information. If you want to be a guest on the show, come on. I would love to have you guys. Y'all have an amazing Thursday. And I'll see you guys on Tuesday. And Tuesday, I have something more juicy and more special. So, Tuesday, we're going to start talking about taxes. Thank you guys, and y'all have an amazing day.